Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Watch the video game industry flash right before your eyes, one game at a time. We were last just beginning September 1982, playing baseball on the Emerson Arcadia 2001. Let's see what is next. Now we're on the Atari home computer, and this is Beta Fighter. Not familiar with Beta Fighter? Let's see what the box is like. The Ultimate Space Gunner Challenge. Hey, it has space games in it. It's got to be good. This is by Artworks, and I'm surprised this is the box. Usually when we see an Artworks box, it just has the word Artworks all over the front. So maybe they've learned something. Let's flip it over the back. It's by Douglas McFarlane. Way to go, Douglas. Set on a spectacular Martian backdrop, your mission is to destroy the dastardly Creloids as they pass overhead. Beta Fighter is a 1- or 2-player game in which joysticks are used to position your launching platform and to fire your missiles. Points are given for each hit. The game ends when 10 aliens are successfully Wait, that sounds so simple. For a whole game? That's the whole game? Is the basic cartridge is 16K for cassette or 24K for diskette to play. So what else is to it? Is there any more to Beta Fighter besides that one? There's the box. That's what I was looking for. That's the artwork box. At least this was the first way that Artworks was advertising their game. Not very flashy. Just stick a Beta Fighter sticker on it. Looks great. And yeah, there we go. That's the back of the Artworks box I was thinking about when I thought of Artworks. So if you were in a magazine, this is what the Artworks ad would look like. Hey, nice screenshot. Take a look at that. That's a picture of the game Beta Fighter during creation using the Drawpick graphics editor. This reminds me of magazines that show you this great screenshot, but the game sucks. Because eventually it's going to turn into that, where they just show a great picture and you think, wow, the game is fantastic. This is going to be so good. But we'll see what happens when we actually put the game in. I don't see the price point here. Font is really, really tiny, but it shows all the things that Artworks is pushing out, as well as loading instructions inside the box, whether on disc or cassette. Hopefully we won't have to use anything to finagle those. With an example of the screenshot, let's see the manual for Beta Fighter. There we go. One or two-player action game takes place on the desolate area of the Martian highlands. The menacing Kraloids are passing overhead in their dastardly mission to terrify the mining settlement at Stratus Minor. See, why do they need the story? Why is the story here? It is your mission to destroy as many Kraloid ships as possible. Points are awarded for each hit. The game is over when 10 Kraloid ships successfully pass beyond your defenses. Wait, so that means the end is inevitable. You are going to just finish when all 10 Kraloid ships... So you just keep firing away until the end. At least that's what I got from it. There's the loading instructions. To start the game, you push start key on your computer. You'll see the Kraloid ships passing across the screen from right to left. When you depress the trigger button on your joystick, a projectile will be released from your... Why are they explaining this? This sounds like this should be explained back in 1977 or 76. But we're familiar with how a shooting game, where I hope most people are. There's 3 basic Kryllian ship movements, and the score is based on difficulty factor of hitting ships 10 to 50 points per hit. A 4th ship movement occurs when a bonus ship appears, which is like the UFO from whenever we played Space Invaders, I guess. Yes. Hey, big shout out to the chat. Thanks so much for everybody here for the live show, because honestly, part of the show is what happens in the chat. I was previewing a couple of videos that we did before, and the live show, there is so many great things that are put in chat, so keep it coming. Love it. 2 mobile launching platforms are visible at all times. 1 and 2 player operation control either joystick 1 or 2. I wonder if I need 2 joysticks then. Just in case, we'll plug them in to be ready on our Atari home computer. The author wishes to thank Dennis Zader for his long, imaginative work, so thanks, Dennis. Let's pop in and play Beta Fighter. This is by Douglas McFarlane, published by Artworks Software Company in the beginning of September 1982. Yeah, and I'm with you there, Errol. Even the bad games are interesting. Seeing every game, I hope that these games can speak for themselves, because seeing a little gameplay and going game by game by game, you see this evolution of video games that you don't see anywhere else. It's really cool. All right, so we're in the game. I can already move the joystick. Nice touch. Can the second player move too? Oh, cool. So the game hasn't even begun. I don't know what the ship design is. If you look down at the bottom, one of the ships looks like it's actually pointing the wrong direction. Can I fire? Oh, I can even fire too. So it lets you practice, I guess. But take a look at the artwork. This is some of the most impressive artwork we've seen so far on the Atari home computer. The way that they're using the graphics, I understand why they gave credit to someone else. Look at the detail and the pixel art for the mountains. That's really impressive. A rare thing to see right now in 1982. Yeah, the background's pretty good. So did they spend all the time on the background and the game is terrible? Let's see, because there's no option. I'm hitting select. Or option? Yeah, there's no option. Just push start and go. So this is a 2-player only game. I'm controlling as 1 player, the golden ship, and then if you're player 2, you'll control the blue ship. So I can move the player 2 around. Does it actually fire? Oh, it does. Okay, so player 2 does work. So it's a 2-player only affair, which means, is this a co-op game or a competitive game? Are you trying to see who can get the most points together, or are you working together against the aliens? We're going to see this later with a lot of shoot-em-ups. You know, when you play the 2-player shoot-em-ups, it can be both cooperative and competitive. You're playing at the same time, trying to kill all the aliens, but you're also slightly competing on who can get the higher score. But this is so bare bones. The graphic in the background is very nice, but all we're doing is, as far as gameplay, it's just firing 1 shot at a time. I don't have a lot of firepower. Let's see what happens. I'm just racking up the points. They're destroying the second player. By the way, there is no second player to play. But you could play at the same time. We've seen plenty of games that you can play at the same time with someone else too. So it's honestly the only big thing it's doing is the background. It worked really good in magazines to sell the game. Gameplay is less impressive as Space Invaders. All it is 3 enemy types that move across the screen, and you shoot them, and then that's it. I haven't even got the 3rd enemy type. Kill! Yes, there we go. Got the timing down on that. Very, very simple affair, just pretty to look at. Yes, 90% of the budget for graphics, I can agree with you there. I'm trying to see if there's any other value or merit, but when I've seen gameplay footage online, this screen is it. So there's no other planets, there's no other levels, it's just, do you and your little sister or little brother want to play a game at the same time? Then here you go. You can both shoot at ships together. It's a family affair. Alright, I can't really do anymore. This one is interesting. It's almost to the point that I think, how did a full release get sent out when the gameplay is very lackluster? I almost want to say around the average range for all the home computer games you could play. Beta Fighter isn't pushing anything as far as all the other games we've seen so far. As a shooter, there's a lot more that's out there. Victor's already thrown out 2 stars saying it's a bad title. Yeah, 2 it functions, I believe you. Charlie Chuck's going 2, 2.5, 3. Now, for at this point, we've already seen so many really good shooters that I have to give it a slight subpar rating. There's more and better games you could be playing out there. Specifically, there's some Space Invader games that I gave 2.5 stars that are more impressive than this. So it's cool to look at, but Beta Fighter isn't really doing much after that. Yeah, I love the background graphic for sure. All right, so after that, let's see what our next game is. It's time to go to the TRS-80 Coco, or the 80 Micro, if you have a terrible name. This is Bridge Tutor. Bridge Tutor is one we're not going to spend a lot of time on. Here is the box for Bridge Tutor. Ooh. Do you want to learn how to play bridge, kids? Well, here you go. There's the ad you would have seen in magazines at the time. This is Radio Shack. If you look down at the bottom right, $35 for Bridge Tutor. Yikes. It makes me think that some old lady got kicked out of the bridge club, and she has no friends to play with, so who are you going to play with? You're going to play with a Bridge Tutor. We even have the manual for Bridge Tutor or Bridge Tutor 1. Wow, yeah, so a lot of information. If you want to know how to play bridge, this would work. There is only a couple other games out there that you could play bridge or learn how to play bridge on a video game. It's the program for the novice and average bridge player alike. There's 100 instructional hands, each teaching a unique offensive or defensive strategy. You can ask the computer for help if you have problems in bidding or playing. You can have the computer review the bidding and play the entire game. Wait, you can have the gameplay itself? That's even better. There's 4 basic sections to the manual, and it breaks them all down for us on how to play. You can use joysticks on your Coco. Pretty cool. Yes, thankfully there was. I'm so glad you give me good news like that, Curtis, that we're not going to see Bridge Tutor the sequel. Oh, there's only one. I'm not even going to go through the whole manual. This is a massive manual. This is a quintessential game for if you want to learn how to play bridge. We won't last long, but let's pop in and play my Philidor software published by Tandy Corporation, Bridge Tutor or Bridge Tutor 1 on a cartridge, believe it or not. I'll take it. Let's see, does the joystick really respond? Oh, it does. It started the game for us. How about that? Thanks, Tandy, for bringing us Bridge. Presentation is like some of the other card games we've seen on the Coco. All I picture is just some old lady saying, "Kick me out of the bridge club, I'll just play on my own." This is one of the very first times that you could play against 4 other or 3 other computer players and play bridge. So you could play this game, and then 3 other computers will take over to play. So really, really cool if you're into bridge. So now, for someone who is not really into bridge, if I'm going to play this game, I'm not the right demographic for it. Yes, gambling tutorial. That's a good point. We should call it that too, right? There you go. I'll give you the sneak peek of what the game's like with just a little bit, but that's pretty much it. Of all the games you can play, it's very impressive that they have this program, but as far as game merit, there's a lot more that I'd want to be playing on the Coco. It is cool that it's on cartridge. You pop it in and it loads quite fast. Yes, they should. I guess by the time we reach 1997, 98, then we can blend those 2 genres together. In the meantime, though, this game is really good bridge. This is probably top-notch bridge. Of all the games you could play, though, I wouldn't say it's a very high-rated game. Yeah, it's not bad looking. It works really well, but I'm going to have to say just about average because there's other titles that I don't want to... For all the home computers, color computer, everything, there's better ones out there. Yes, bridge or die. I'll still say 3 stars. Average title, works really well. Play some bridge or learn some bridge if you want. Yeah, there we go. Especially if you're into bridge. And with that, let's press forward. What's the next game? It's time to go to the arcade and play Burnin' Rubber. Burnin' Rubber is going to be known later as Bump and Jump. Yes, we get to finally play some Bump and Jump. This is the Japanese release, the first release. And there's the advertisement flyer for Bump and Jump. Burnin' Rubber. We'll see Bump and Jump later, the official Bump and Jump later. This is by Data East, another one on the Deco cassette system. Really, really cool artwork. I actually think this one is even better than Bump and Jump, but I can't say that because we haven't seen Bump and Jump yet. All we know now is Burnin' Rubber. You flip it over the back, and what is this? Is this really the back of the Deco Burnin' Rubber? It says Tokyo Me Clinic. What are they advertising for, a clinic on the back? I think it's another game, but I'm not from... Oh, okay, it's another arcade cabinet. I have no idea what that is. I don't even know if it's related. But there is the Deco cassette system. Plug the put your cassette in and play some arcade games. Who knew? And our controls are just a 4-way joystick, I believe, and jump, and that's it. Yeah, that's all we have for the controls. And then the arcade marquee looks something like that. Burnin' Rubber, with an example of the screenshot. Oh, that's so cool, yeah. Oh, that's a good shout out, Manly. Cartoons. And for other versions, you can play this on the Deco cassette and wait for a long time for it to load, or you can play the standalone version. That's what we're going to do. Let's go to the arcade and play Burnin' Rubber by Data East. Tsuyoshi Kitazawa did the sound for this one in the beginning of September 1982. Score points by crashing into cars, jumping and landing on cars, and bonus points for finishing the course. 32 courses available. 32? That's pretty cool. All right, so they're doing a high score table, giving us a little bit of the attract mode. We've already played at this point lots of racing games, and some of the top-down scrolling games so far. The big ones were like Monaco GP in 1979, and then we've seen a driving/jumping game. It was more of a 2D scrolling game like Scramble or Super Cobra, and that was Jump Bug in June of 1981. So this one is combining those two games. Let's Monaco GP and Jump at the same time. Nice. Attract mode. Let's put a coin in and go. And you got to get over 100 miles an hour to jump. How about that? I just saw in the chat someone gave a shout out that if you don't destroy any cars, if you do a pacifist run and get through the level, you get even a higher bonus. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if I can do that. There's very few vehicle combat games like this where you can drive and destroy things. Now, granted, there is no... Oh, we already died in the water. We already died in the water. There is no guns. So we haven't got to that kind of realm yet. There already has been a highway chase, which essentially was... It felt more like a shooter rather than a car game. You were using a car, but this one is strictly just drive around and bump into them and jump over them. Bump and jump them, if you will. I really love smashing on top, though. That's the best part. And pretty impressive that this is part of the Deco cassette system. If you're not familiar, that system was pretty much the same arcade cabinet. All you did was change a few things like the marquee and the designs, like the billboards and artwork. And you could just switch out games. It was really cool. Let's make the jump. Oh, barely. Nice. Yeah, this plays very similar to Monaco GP and a few of the other top-down scrolling games we've already played. But that jump mechanic is really nice. Yes. You smashed 5 cars. The game where you get points for killing people. It makes me think of Death Race. Ah, the very first. It's been so long. We played so many games that Death Race seems like it was a long time ago. I wasn't even able to play that one because it was transistor to transistor logic, but I'd love to play some Death Race. Oh, we're not going to make it. Oh, we did it. So what do you think? At this point, is the smashing cars really driving the gameplay? Is it something that unique and that special? I say it's good enough for to warrant at least 4 stars, maybe even more. I think we're already down to the... Yeah, we are down to the end. Very cool. You can put your initials in, and it carries them down for you. Can we go? Oh, nice. 4-way joystick works. We don't have to roll all the way to the other side. Very nice. Great, great game. All right, let's go ahead and continue play. Do we take over where we left off? So if you haven't noticed yet, every time you go further and further in the game, it's kind of based on seasons. Where eventually we'll be driving in summer and then winter with some snow. The levels change, and the seasons is a great way to do it. Barely made that one. Chris has already thrown out 4.5 stars. Wow. Yeah, Manly's going 4. Hunter's going 4.5. I love arcade games like this that have a very definite genre mashup. Let's mix up some platforming with Monaco GP, or that style of game. Monaco GP isn't the only one that's been out there. We've already seen a few others. A lot of rip-offs of Monaco GP. But I gotta say that the car mechanic of smashing into other enemies is a great feature. You have a little recoil too. Whenever you bump into one of them, you kind of fly back, so you have to be careful of how many bumps you hit to smash them off the road. But it's really satisfying, and it's fresh. Great idea. You can see I barely made that one. Oh, what? Oh, that was right on the edge. I can't believe it. We also have constant music while we're playing the game. That's what the arcade games gotta have, at least some of the good ones so far. They make it pretty simple to put in your high score. Very nice. Let's keep going. Can we finish? It's gonna keep track. So this game is kind of like Rally X and a few others that we played in the arcade, where you can continue to put quarters in and take over where you left off. You can continue the arcade game, or if you want to call it a pay to win. Even though there's really no ending. I know you can go through all 4 seasons and then see the next part. Oh, not too fast. If you look down on the bottom left, it's showing us pattern 2. And there are 32 different courses that are available to play in this game, or variations of the courses. The sound design of this game is also very well done. Not just the music happening in the background, but the way that the sound of the engine, explosions, sound effects. We've already had some really good games by Data East on the Deco cassette system, and this one's no exception. So good. Oh, so for Aerial Defenders, a 5. I also really enjoy the video games in the arcade that allow you to keep putting a quarter in to take over where you left off. So we're not having to start over at the very, very beginning. There's been several games that don't let you continue, and I'm looking at one of the newer ones, like Jungle King, Jungle Hunt. I'm looking at you guys. All right, let's see. Nice. Plus, having a course that has hits is very fresh. The idea that you can drive off the track, or the road that you're driving on, isn't just a normal racetrack. That's what most of the driving games we've seen since the beginning, like Sprint. The top-down fixed view is all the same, like race course or driving course. This one, it feels like it's something else. Can I make it? Let's go, let's go. Oh man, the rock came out of nowhere. Okay, we're still going. Oh, I see. So that one drops the rocks. Tricky, tricky. Nice. And the #1 score, I believe that's who did the sound design for the game. YOS? It could have been anyone else. Director, producer, publisher. Like it may have been someone else, but cool that they put their name in there. Yeah, and that's a good point. I saw in the chat, this is changing the genre up. It's not just a driving game. This is driving with action, blowing things up. It's car combat. Can we get more games like that? Oh, there he is. I want to take that guy out real bad. He's trying to slow me down. Okay, we made that one nice. Yeah, this is a blast to play. It doesn't feel as far-reaching or as impressive as something like Zaxxon or Pole Position, but still really, really good for all the arcade games up to this point. Oh, they got stuck on the bridge. See what we got now? We have the rocks being dropped from the other enemies. I have no idea how I made that one. That was luck. All right, there we go. So pattern 2 done. How long can you keep going? If you got enough money, just keep putting it in. You can keep playing. Oh, and they already got me right off the bat. If I'm able to go with a pacifist run and not kill anyone, that would be pretty cool. Look at that. See, on accident, just jumping or bumping into enough people and they blow up. And do we know if this is for burning rubber, or is that only for bump and jump that you get the extra points? We also have different enemy cars that come out. The way that they drive and respond. Leave some of them behind. Very cool. Thanks, Charlie. I appreciate the comments in chat. Wow. Yeah, very, very satisfying. This is yet another arcade game that drives me to want to put more quarters in. I want to continue to play. I want to see what's next. What's the next level going to look like? And this game helps by adding the seasons theme, so you'd be like, wow, the track has ice on it. Or there's snow. That's so new. You want to see what's next? All right, all we got to do is make it over. Come on. There we go. Pattern 3 done. See, I'm already hooked. I want to keep going, and I don't want to see the end. We're already on to pattern 4. So nice. All right, so that's Burning Rubber. The first time we're going to see this, and we're going to see it again when it's called Bump and Jump and it comes to North America or other regions. As of right now, this one is big for genre pushing, and as far as video games go. It is one of the best arcade games you could play. The only question is it as good as or in the same realm of something like Zaxxon, Pole Position, and the heavy hitters, Donkey Kong, and so forth? Or is this just a notch below 4.5 stars? I'm going to have to say the idea to go around smashing cars and shoot, and you don't even shoot anybody, but you are able to attack with your car is so fresh. So I'm going to have to say, because of people copying this and how many clones we're going to be getting of this, I'm going to go 5 stars for Burnin' Rubber. It is very, very well done. Lots of fun, and like I described playing the game, I want to keep going. I want to keep putting quarters in. I want to be able to play this at home. We will eventually, just stay tuned. On the show, we'll eventually have all the home ports too. Scruffy Looks and throwing out 4 stars, very nice. Yeah, very cool. So after that, let's see where we're going now.
From high technology,
it's the latest issue of Byte magazine. This is September, so we got to check out a few of the magazines. Byte is the small systems journal, and like usual, this magazine is massive. We're not going to be reading the entire magazine. Let's take a look at the cover of the magazine. This is all about computers and the disabled. They always do something really nice for the cover of Byte. And as usual, I think it's a Chromimco, an ad for Chromimco. Every Byte magazine so far has had Chromimco. We know, we got it. So there we go, Volume 7, Number 9. This is September. What's happening in the month of September? We have at the top left Quinty Maze by Robert Suk, which is a game. They actually have a game inside of Byte magazine. It placed 8th in the Byte game contest. Now, this game you could type in. Robert Suk has dropped the source code that you could play the game, but I haven't been able to rip that source code and turn it into something we can actually run on the show. If someone's done that and you want us to show off Quinty Maze, send it my way. Otherwise, we'll just say, there it is. This is Quinty Maze, and that's the showcase of Quinty Maze. And then we also have 3DT. Strategy is the key word of the game, designed for the TRS-80 computer. the 7th place winner in the Byte game contest. So Byte's doing games too. There's something with these video games. I'm so glad that they put these in the magazines. And then we'll skip by the Epson side. The NCC report, new products from the United States and Japan put the spotlight on microcomputers at the National Computer Conference. I think we're going to see that when we read Computer Gaming World. They talk about the National Computer Conference. And then we have the Hanover Fair, annual expedition to showcase the latest microcomputers and data processing. One of the other reasons I like to read or take a look at Byte, just for the table of contents, is to see what is happening in the world of technology at the time. So this is September. What's the newest, coolest thing? So far, they have a lot of games that they're pointing out. They have Microvox text-to-speech synthesizer, another one. It has phonemes that control a Votrack, so that's a more impressive Votrack synthesizer. We've already seen that on the Scott Adams re-releases. He's been doing Adventureland and the Voodoo Castle and things like that. So we're going to be seeing those games that you can make them talk if you want. Next is computers playing a dual role for the disabled individuals. Really, really nice. Speech recognition is part of that, but then there's a lot of things that they're doing now in 1982, which is pretty cool. New horizon for non-vocal communication devices. MinSpeak, FDA regulation of computerized medical devices. Oh man, even those two. Talking terminals. I believe someone in chat mentioned medical devices were using Atari, or maybe it was something using Atari computers for it. I know, after all this, and when we read all this information with computers, it's funny that we think, and when we know now, there's going to be a crash in 1983. I'm fully invested in the time we're in. When we're in September 1982, it doesn't feel like there's going to be a crash, or at least consoles. It doesn't even feel that way. So I'm surprised right now, and I'm excited to see what happens in 1983 to make it feel like if there is a crash. Are we going to notice it on the channel? I'm not even sure. Then we have talking terminals, adaptive firmware cards on the Apple II. We've already seen that, actually. A few of the cracked Apple II games have adaptive firmware inside the play. And then we have Logo, which is used to educate disabled children. You bet it does. And over here we have the Model 3, A to D, Revisited. We're already playing a lot of games on the TRS-80 Model 3. And then the case of the purloined object code, comparison of 5 compilers, digital troubleshooting, program your own text editor, the weaving simulator, and then turn your Apple II into a storage oscilloscope. Yikes. Over here on reviews, though, we have the Apple III, which is out. If you wanted an Apple III, just stick with the Apple II. And then we have the Ability Phone, and then in Bytes Arcade, they have a review for Swashbuckler, which we've already played. Really cool 2D sword pirate game. Zero Gravity Pinball, and if you look ahead, I didn't give high ranks to Zero Gravity Pinball, and neither did Mark Friedman. Wasn't very impressive. But they also review Beer Run. In Byte Magazine, they have a review for Beer Run, which is kind of cool. We played that one back in 1981. And then I have Advanced Star Raider, Tactics and Strategy. So again, Star Raider is so big, they're giving you more tips and tricks on it. So there you go. Oh, there it is, down the bottom right. That's Swashbuckler, right here by my ear. We don't rate magazines. Byte's just getting us in the feel of the culture of video games right now in September of 1982. Oh yeah, it must be really fun to program with Logo. All right, so after that, let's see what's next. Time to play on the Commodore VIC-20 in the United Kingdom. This is Cavern Fighter. Let's take a look at Cavern Fighter, starting with the box. Oh, man, I don't know what Analog's going for. That is a whole amalgamation of a bunch of stuff thrown on the screen. Quick, throw some bombs in there. And make it work. This is for the unexpanded VIC-20, and this box, quote-unquote, is actually what the cassette's held in. For Cavern Fighter. Do we have anything on the back? Oh, just the nice. Very cool. Any other artwork for Cavern Fighter? I am not familiar with this one. We'll get to check it out together. Here's an ad you would have seen by Analog in magazines at the time. We do not showcase as many magazines in Europe or other countries, but they're out there. There's already several for Sinclair and over in the United Kingdom, Sinclair User, things like that. And then in Japan, they're already starting with some publications as well. What we'll do instead is we just look at these ads to see what the market's like. Where is it though? Crazy Kong, Xeno, Crawler, Pharaoh's Tomb. Lots by Analog. We've seen most of these. Even the terrible one. I don't know if you can see. It's very tiny. Tiny Tot 7 is advertised here. It's so very, very bad. There it is. Cavern Fighter's right below it. Only £6. So we're not expecting much from this game if it's only £6. But everything was a lot cheaper over there in Europe. All right. So this one is Ready to play. This is by Daryl Etherington, published by Analog Software in the beginning of September 1982. Yeah, I saw Mini Kong 2 on that ad. We'll see Mini Kong. We haven't seen that one yet. And this one, I'm going to load us up fast. Yeah, we're not going to wait for that tape to load. I paid £6 for this. I'm not waiting. Analog Computers, would you like instructions to play Cavern Fighter? Yes, I would. Captain, your mission is to fly above the enemy terrain to their main base and destroy it. You start the mission with 3 ships, each with a full tank of fuel. However, the fuel runs out rather quickly and must be replenished. Okay. You gain more fuel. You must bomb or shoot blue fuel dumps, which are spread on the passing terrain below. They're explaining scramble. That's what it is. When you get to wave 4, you must hit the yellow base to return to wave 1. Otherwise, you'll run out of fuel and crash. Okay, so they change it up a little bit, giving you a mission. There's the waves. We got rising rockets attacking saucers, fireball attack, and then the enemy base. So there's 4 levels total for this one. Or it looks like in the description it said 6 levels. So we're seeing 4 here. If you can get past all 4 waves, okay, it goes back to wave 1. And there's the breakdown. They're utilizing all the colors of the Commodore VIC-20. Did anybody do that on your VIC-20? Where you can change the color, type a little bit, and then change the color again and type a little bit. That's what they're doing for the instructions. Nice touch. We can use keyboard or joystick, space to fire, and then I'm using joystick. We have level 9 is suicide level. We're not doing that. Let's start with level 5 and see what it's like. Please wait. Yes, I know. There is no quality control, font control for any of the computer games. It's all on the table. Anyone can do whatever they want. All right, let's do it. Oh, I think I broke it. Run? No? Oh, great. Did I break it? Let's try it again. It didn't like me fast forwarding. We'll just say, no, we don't want instructions. And let's try easy then. The loading games I found when you're using emulation, if you want to fast forward, sometimes it sends the break key to the computer and the whole game crashes. Well, this game we're going to be seeing later on the ZX Spectrum. I don't know for sure if the version of Commodore VIC-20 is similar to the ZX Spectrum, but it is the same game. This is another riff on the scramble games, or not really Defender-like, but it's constantly scrolling. You shoot them up to the side. We played a game called Red Alert. That was just terrible, really, really bad. And then we also played Avenger on the ZX Spectrum. The most recent ones from this formula were QS Scramble and Spectrum Scramble. I know, the yellow text on the white background, it does make you want to puke, right? Oh, maybe we do. This one was supposed to be unexpanded VIC-20, so it shouldn't have any memory, and whenever I've done the playtest, it didn't need it. It worked just fine. Yeah, are there any lefties out there? Because I am a lefty. And I remember whenever I had to learn how to play on the Atari VCS, when I was holding the joystick, it felt strange for me to put the red button on the right. All right, here we go. Press shift to play. Let's go. After all that waiting, we're finally in. Oh man, it's really not as impressive as I thought. We are very spoiled here on Chronologically Gaming, and most of the time we get games to load instantly when you would be waiting several minutes in 1982. So you got to experience at least part of the load time, the second load time. So yeah, we're playing some Scramble on our Commodore VIC-20. It's not new. We played plenty of variants of Scramble, Super Cobra. I don't know what the sound design is just giving us a few bleeps and bloops. And I think if I survive long enough, we can get to the next wave. So instructions in the game say 4 levels. For what I've read online, there's 6 levels, like it changes up after you loop around the 4 levels. If you want to survive long enough, but you can kind of get the idea. It's using tile-based programming, so while it's 2D scrolling, it's chugging along. This is better than a game we played called Red Alert. At least it moves a lot more brisk than that. Errol's already thrown out 2 stars. Yeah, as far as the bad rating, yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah, and we haven't seen anything like Scorch on the VIC-20 yet. The future holds much. We're in September, yet we're halfway through all the games in 1982. I really want to see what the next level is. I'm doing fine with fuel. It's really easy to keep going. The only question is, do you want to keep going? There we go. I think we got it. Is it time for the next stage? One of the best things of playing Scramble in the arcade was you wanted to see what the next level was. Okay, we made it. We're in the asteroids. Oh, it's dodging. Yikes. I didn't know. I thought we could shoot the jellyfish. We just have to dodge them. So having less levels, it's not nearly as fun. But you gotta admit, when you had to wait for games to load, did it make the game more impressive? If you waited 15 minutes for a game to load, would you be more invested in that game since you waited so long? Or would you boot it up and realize, oh, this is bad, then quit the game? Does it change your feelings on the game when you work to make it load? Oh yeah, we're way pre-Gradius. Well, we saw 2 of the levels. It is interesting that they're giving us kind of a objective to blow up a base if you go far enough, but would you want to go far enough is the big question. All right, so of all the other games you could be playing on home computers, it's not nearly as good as Neptune on the Apple II, and not nearly as good as Strike Force on the TRS-80. It is better than Red Alert, but that's not really saying much. Of all this style of games, it's still bad. I would still say 2 stars of all the home computer games you can be playing right now. Between 2 or 2.5. It is way subpar, but I'm still going to say bad. Charlie Chuck's going out 2. Victor's going even lower, 1.5 stars. Yes. Punted into the sun? No, not this one. There's plenty others that should be punted into the sun. All right, let's see what our next game is. After this commercial break. Direct from China. Even China has Atari. Now, he's speaking English in the background and has subtitles over it, but I couldn't find the English version of this commercial. There it is. The fantastic announcement of SpectraVision for the Atari VCS. Ladies and gentlemen, it is yet another publisher that's going to have their hand in the ring and add more games to the Atari. This is China Syndrome. Let's take a look at the box. The very first game by SpectraVision. Ooh. Now, this is an actual scan. It doesn't do the front of the box complete justice because their box is very similar to a Magic. It has this kind of sheen to it. Not as impressive as a Magic. The Magic looks really nice. China Syndrome. Now, is this based on the movie? Or is this just based on the concept, China Syndrome? I don't see Kirk Douglas on the front, or Jane Fonda, or... That was from 1979, I think. Who else? Was Wilford Brimley in the China Syndrome? Was he? Let's flip it over in the back. And yeah, I think it's just about the concept, the China Syndrome. For years, the nuclear power plant Spectra Island has been producing efficient, low-cost power for the residents of Spectraville. But now an earthquake has damaged the core. Dangerous radioactive particles are loose and threaten explosion and meltdown. Your expertise is urgently needed to recover the particles and restore normal power plant operating levels before it's too late. Prevent disaster. Save Spectraville. Avoid the start of the China Syndrome. Oh, look. They have their joystick there. Ladies and gentlemen, the Quick Shot. The very first ergonomic joystick is there. And I believe SpectraVision did it. They're the ones that brought that joystick out. Anybody have that joystick? I certainly did not. Yes, great shout out in chat, Mikey. SpectraVision is later going to change their name to Spectra Video. And Spectra Video will make a computer that we will be seeing, I think, next year. It's the beginning of something new. Oh my gosh, look at the bottom right. They have additional versions for young children, just like Atari does. So this is yet another third-party publisher. Let's see if we have any other artwork for China Syndrome. See, there you go. This is the scanned, and then there's the reconstructed between the front of the box for China Syndrome. Amazing we have this many that's out so far. And then we also have the ad you would have seen in magazines at the time, SpectraVision. Notice the SpectraVision logo. If you're familiar with Spectra Video, it looks about the same. I think they took the same idea. They weren't allowed or had to change the name for some legal reasons. Yeah, this one's very abstract. This is the first of this publisher, and there's tons of publishers already on the Atari. The only one we haven't seen yet that I'm excited for is 20th Century Fox. It hasn't come out yet. There's the cartridge. Every third-party publisher on the Atari has their own special-looking cartridge, and there it is for Spectra Video and China Syndrome. Very cool. Oh, there we go. That's the actual scan of the cartridge. Oh, use that joystick on the C64. Very nice. So how do we play China Syndrome? It's yet another game that takes place in a nuclear power plant. This isn't the first. One of the first ones was a simulator we played called Scram. And then we also played Reactor in the arcades. Reactor hasn't come home yet. Well, we're going to see it on Atari at some point. So what do we do? How do we play this? Welcome to Spectra Island. You begin Priority 1 clearance for this project. As an expert in nuclear energy safety standards, you have been chosen to be supervisor of the entire plant. Why are they giving us the story? I don't think we're going to be doing that much gameplay as far as handling a nuclear reactor. This is a simulator, it says. It's been rocked by an unexpected earthquake. Nuclear reactor on Spectra Island has been damaged, and our mission is to enter the reactor and collect the escaped particles of fuel that have leaked from the core. Success means saving millions of people. Failure means meltdown. And there it is. They actually have a core. Nuclear energy was all the rage right now. All right, so keep going. It tells us how to use the cartridge in the system. Difficulty switches, what they do, shows you how many robot arms you have per game. Okay, so you can actually use the difficulty switches, and then you have all the different game modes. We have 4 game modes. Game mode 4 is the children's game, but we have a certification test, practice, and then start test at level 5. And there it is again, the ergonomic joystick. The manual, I don't think it says anything about it. So we entered the simulator. The nuclear core is the bottom of the reactor on level 9. Each level consists of 3 radiation zones, red, blue, and yellow zones. Your control panel has radiation indicators for the 3 types of radiation. Use your DDV robot arm. Oh, that's a robot arm. That's right. Press the fire button to pick up the particle, and the particle is a pixel, I believe, or several pixels in a square. They bounce off the reactor wall into different particles. So did they base this game off the arcade game Reactor? This is really close to when Reactor came out in the arcade. And yeah, thanks to 3 Mile Island. I don't know if we should be thanking them. There's already these disasters were popular. Not that they were popular, but they were in the news, and so that's why we get all these video games. This is before the age of licensing games. So if there's no other things they're licensing, they're going to pick the 3 Mile Island, I guess. Avoid the core vent. Losing all your robot arms will automatically initiate the meltdown sequence. What a bizarre idea. So we're just going to go around picking up particles, and they have some screenshots of the different levels of the game. Whoa, very strange. Idea for a game. Test results are monitored, efficiency, and we have levels 1, 4, 8. Okay, so they're breaking down all those, and then they have, if you complete all 9 levels, and you have to put the game on pause and take a picture of the screen, send your picture to our service center, and you'll receive our due recognition. What does that mean? Is that like an Activision patch? Because Activision knows how to do it. What is due recognition? What is Spectra Video going to do? Spectra Vision. Sorry, there's Spectra Vision right now. Yes, right? That's true, yes. Keep being sarcastic on that one. I love it, though. I really do. All right, we have other versions if you want to play in PAL regions, but we're going to go with the first one in North America. It's time to pop in China Syndrome by Spectravision in the beginning of September 1982. The very first by Spectravision. Nice. They're already starting us off with an arcade style with all the particles bouncing around. And anytime you pop something in on your Atari, it does this, where the game does something to show you, and then when you're ready to play, you can. All right, so let's go ahead and switch it up. I want game mode. I don't want to do the initial. Let's do the real game. So let's do the real mode and go. All right, so there's my robot arm. Oh, already touched the core, and I blew up. And I blew up again. I won't move until I see where the core is. There you go. Pick it up. Oh, okay, it switches the colors out, if you can see that. And see, my robot arm is, when I use the red button, all I'm doing is grabbing the particles and stopping or closing my arm around the particles. So as far as comparing it to the arcade game Reactor, since it has to do with nuclear energy, this one isn't as interesting. All you're doing is, it almost feels like you're cleaning house, because you're going around and you're picking up particles, and you don't want as many particles in each section, from blue to red to yellow. And you can't use your robot arm in between, like right here. Technically, though, the way that they were able to split up the colors on the Atari VCS is pretty cool. just keep the particles going, and that's the game. It is a one-player only affair. If you want to play with multiple people, you don't play at the same time. You got to pick up the particles on your own. Can I just hold? Okay, if you hold the red button down, then it closes your robot arm open and close again. What a bizarre idea for a game. Uh-oh, yellow meltdown. See, I didn't clean up the yellow room fast enough. Yeah, not a lot of flicker. Oh my gosh. That is terrible. That's the explosion. That's so loud. Can anyone even hear my microphone right now? I even have the volume down, turned down 80%. Gosh. Yes, now. I can't switch out from this. I can't change it. Why? Why are they doing this? Okay, so we've played Missile Command. We've seen and played Missile Command on the Atari VCS and on the Atari home computer. When Missile Command blows up in a giant explosion, it just says, the end. This is still doing the meltdown sequence. That was the longest death I think we've seen for any video game ever up to this point. That was unnecessary. That was loud. That was ridiculous. I can't even believe that. Because how bad that was, this is another third-party publisher that I kind of want to just throw in the trash. Yikes. Can we do another one after that? Or, okay, yeah, you just go right into another game. I don't want to have a meltdown ever again. Wow. Yes. That is the worst punishment for video games we've seen. See, at least that death, I'd rather run into the... If I know I'm about to die from a meltdown, I'm just going to run into one of the reactors so that we can die that way. It's much more pleasant. Speaking from a video gamer who dies a lot, hopping from game to game, here on Chronologically Gaming, that was the worst death I've ever seen. I wouldn't want that death on anyone. I was going to call this game a fairly average game for a home console, but thanks to that death, nope. We're going to bring it down low. Charlie Chuck's going down for 2.5 stars, very nice. And I saw a 1.5 back there before. Yeah, maybe it's the fear of meltdown. Gosh, that was just terrible. So China Syndrome is a unique concept, but the gameplay itself, going around and picking things up, isn't as delightful as some of the other titles. We are going to see Reactor later on the arcade. We haven't seen it at home yet. So I still have to say, of all the games you could play, it's about 2 to 2.5 stars if you think of all the games you could be playing right now on a home console. Victor's going all the way down to 0.5. Yikes. Yeah, we'll say 2. It's bad. It's not... It's the best of the bad, but it's still bad. China Syndrome. Not off to a good start, SpectraVision. 5 stars. Oh, I love it, Mikey. Perfect. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's a good point, Manly. You could do that. Maybe we should invite someone on the show and then hand them the controller and play some China Syndrome. By the way, the China Syndrome is because it's the term, if there is a nuclear explosion, digging all the way to China won't save you. And that makes sense with that game. All right, let's see what our next game is. We're back on the Commodore VIC-20. This is Cloudburst. Let's take a look at the box for Cloudburst. Now, this has 2 different releases. The one on cartridge is by UMI, and there's the front of the box. Looks really reminiscent to Missile Command. Really, really cool front. And then flip over the back, they have a screenshot right there. Defend yourself and your Earth base from the attack of the deadly acid rain and polluted spawn mutant creatures called Cloudhoppers. Cloudhoppers and acid rain fall from the cloud-covered polluted sky, and when Cloudhoppers land, they move along the surface to attack your defenses. Hey, kind of like Sabotage or Paratrooper. Your only defense is a neutron tank, but you must be careful. Any contact with the acid rain or the Cloudhoppers are fatal. Yikes, that's scary. There's the box, and then the cartridge, very strange looking cartridge, but UMI's cartridges look kind of like this. And then we also have, in Europe, when it's released by Audiogenic, the front of the box looks very different. They went with the bees, insect vibes, or makes you feel like we're playing Centipede, I guess. with an example of the screenshot. We also have the manual. I think this is, yeah, it's a homebrew manual. This game's by Peter Focos. Way to go, Peter. It's a fast-paced, multi-level, arcade-style game. Your battleground is the planet Earth. Heavy pollution of the atmosphere has created mutant creatures called cloudhoppers that dwell in the clouds, along with the fall of fatal acid rain. Cloudhopper's poisonous free fall ends with deadly horizon attack on your defense base. So we're shooting things, is what it looks like. Yeah, there's the score of how the game works and bonus multipliers. After starting the game, we get a demonstration mode, and you can use keyboard or joystick. Yeah, so we're using joystick. Very nice. There's the controls and what the controls do. How to do rapid fire. You hold the button down. At all costs, contact the acid rain and cloudhoppers. Watch the cloudhoppers that when they reach the ground sideways to you, first 6 clouds appear. Okay, so it's a shooter, probably doing something different. So the 2 versions, we have the cartridge version or the tape version. Tape version is a little limited. The card actually has more, so we're going to play that one. It's time to play Cloudburst by Tensor Technology, by Audiogenic and UMI in the beginning of September 1982. And we got a little ditty there. That song is pretty good for the Commodore VIC-20, actually. All right, let's do this. Oh, so cool. Well, they can't boast high-resolution graphics now because this is lower-resolution graphics on the Commodore VIC-20. But this is insanity. There's so much that's happening. Look how many clouds are in the sky. And then if they get to the ground, they run across you, so the clouds are generating more enemies. A nice touch. The way that they move, though, is fairly simple. Wow. It is really tricky, though, to get the handle of. It's just lots of chaos that's happening on the screen. Let's go again. So one of the enemy types crawls toward you, but then that was I guess that's the cloud hoppers, because the rest of them, they just drop down and explode. Very nice. Yeah, this does look really cool. Plays really well. Notice how smooth it is, too. We've seen lots of tile-based programmed games on the Commodore VIC-20, and it's refreshing to see a game that's running at 60, or the characters are running at 60 FPS. Wow, cool. Oh yeah, I don't know if I want to go to the next level now. But what you see here is what you get. And that's the game. We'll see how long we can last, but this is insanity. Whoa. It is nice that I just can hold the button down and fire. I don't have to push it every time. And the music coming from the Commodore VIC-20, that's pretty good. Pretty good tunes. Yeah, if we just did Commodore VIC-20 games, Curtis, yes, this would be really nice. So there you go. That's Cloudburst. Of all the games you could be playing on a home computer, this one's all right. A very well-done shooter, really fun to play. Since we're comparing this to all the games you could be playing on a home computer, it's around the 3-star range, I would say. Fairly average. Victor's going 3. Yes, just a little bit. I see, yeah, a lot of 3 stars. I got to go with 3. Yeah, very average, very well done, especially for all the games you could be playing. Now, this is compared against all other computers out there, so there's plenty of other shooters that look and play better than Cloudburst, for sure. Manly's going 2.5. Yeah, but that's not all. We also have Cloudburst when it was released for the Atari home computer. So this is the same game programmed by the same person, but on a different computer. Let's take a look at the box. Cloudburst. Oh my goodness, what is happening? That looks like Pizza the Hut from Spaceballs, and he's being attacked. Really doesn't help sell the game. By the way, this is published by Dana, or D-A-N-A. They didn't do a very good job. On a small unknown planet, spinning in a distant system, Chip, Montana, appears at the setting sun and readies himself for the most challenging adventure of his life. Night clouds crowd the horizon and begin to roll forward with a deafening show of thunderclaps and wild lightning strikes. Intelligent, deadly. These are the Cloud People. They don't like company. Oh, so they upgraded to Cloud People for this version. Very nice. They have, again, by Peter Focos, creator of Alien Ambush, have designed a fiendish ordeal to challenge the most skillful gamer Make sure you wear your rain gear. It's about to get nasty outside. Yes, yes, that one will be next year. So this one is also cartridge for your Atari. By the way, the one on the Commodore VIC-20, it's really rare on the VIC-20 to have a game released on tape and cartridge, but Cloudburst did it. Here on the Atari, I believe this is only cartridge. And we have a different manual for this one. There it is. The very first adventure in the series, starring Chip Montana. I don't know if we're going to see Chip Montana again, actually. Intergalactic Mercenary. Chip has crash-landed on an unknown planet in Hydra's 6 system and must survive until the rescue ship arrives. Unfortunately, he's marooned on a world where life forms inhabit the clouds that appear each night. Bad news. The cloud people are hostile, hurl all sorts of nasty things at our hero during the furious nightly storms. Acid rain, flaming hot hail, and killer cloud hoppers that fall from the sky and bound along the ground in search of victims. Chip's only chance, and yours, is to combat these creatures with laser blaster and umbrella until they vanish. That's your attack? Okay. So just to get started, make sure you got a joystick plugged into your Atari port, and then we have different speeds and options. Love it on the Atari home computer. This just feels like a different game. I know it's programmed by the same person and called the same name. It doesn't even appear to be the same thing. It shows you how to play the game. It begins when the sun is rising and moving across the sky. When the sun reaches noon, there's a clap of thunder, and the frightened sun quickly sets. The sky grows darker as clouds gather. Cloudburst. 4 types of attackers. You have acid rain, hot hail, cloud hoppers, and demon clouds. And the Joker appears at expert and crazy levels. It can't kill you, but cages you between walls of static electricity, rendering you temporarily immobile. Wow. And we have the umbrella. Look at this. So they did a good work on the Atari, at least as far as the manual and presentation goes. Watch for more exciting games from Dana. I guess we will watch more exciting games. So this is where we got to put our video game playing on pause. I know we have a big cliffhanger, so you don't get to see Cloudburst on the Atari home computer just yet. We'll check it out next episode, but tune in because we're also going to be seeing the very first video game by Microprose. They have entered the ring. That's it for today, and like I always say, forget the maneuvers and go straight for the high score. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are Perpetually Retro, and we will catch you next time.